Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa and I'm joined by Mr. Josh. A very formal introduction there, Mr. Or is it Sir? Would you prefer to be a Sir or a Mr.? Well,
I can't
Sir is
claim
way
Sir.
better, right?
I can't claim Sir. Sir is
Sir.
for people like Patrick Stewart. You know, it's Captain Jean-Luc
Got the same
Picard. He's a
hairstyle.
Sir.
Anyway, on that bombshell and
bloody
moving
hell.
on. Let's talk about Rework Mercy, but then let's also talk about supports and tanks and their current state in the game. So, we've got this thing going on, which is this whole hashtag Rework Mercy. And I have seen some quite frankly insane ideas of like, we should bring back Mercy's old res, because that would counter Goat's comp. And I'm like, what am I reading? I'm like, what is this? Did these people realise what the game was like back then? That was not good. That was not good at all. So, what we're going to do in this video is talk about Mercy and the idea of reworking her to begin with. But what I've got to say at the start of this video is something like the mass res should never, ever come back into the game, because there is no skill there. There is nothing involved with that, and it was horrifically bad.
And if that wouldn't fix goats, that would make goats worse. Everyone would just die, and then suddenly, oh no,
back.
everyone's suddenly back, and they have all their cooldowns available. And oh, now there's more ults being used in the fight, and now Mercy's charged up her ult again. Fights would never end. Literally. Oh my God, no! Don't bring back that res. Yes, that res should not come back. If you can't remember what it was like playing Mercy in those days, let me remind you where there'll be a big fight happening on the point, but no, you're playing Mercy. You're, say, on Volskaya B, and you're sat almost literally in the spawn, just waiting and waiting and waiting, waiting for that number to turn 5. Number turns 5. Okay, press Q. Boom. Heroes never die. Everybody's back, and suddenly the fight dynamic has completely changed. If they've used ults, they've basically lost the fight because yours just negated everything, and it's just not fun. Like, rezzing is just such a powerful mechanic. It needs to be tempered. This is why Mercy's rezzes were so tweaked constantly, right, and consistently. This is why Mercy meta completely took over, when she could basically do it instantaneously every so often with Valkyrie and stuff like that. Resurrection is a extremely powerful ability in Overwatch, and any form of it existing is always going to be hotly contested.
Okay, so Mercy has been nerfed and buffed and nerfed and buffed, and I think this is probably some sort of fatigue coming in from the players that do just main Mercy. It's like, oh, here we go again, Mercy's being nerfed. Oh, Mercy's getting this is happening, this isn't fair, I don't feel great, blah, 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 blah. Now, we actually went into massive detail on Mercy in a video, and we were like, look, Mercy is the fantasy of Mercy is she's the quintessential primary healer. She is the medic. When you see the initial announcement trailer for Overwatch, she comes out of the sky, doesn't she? Like, heroes never die. Well, I don't think she says that, but she sort of comes down to a child in a war zone. Yeah. Anyway, she's on paper the big daddy healer or the big mommy healer, whatever you want to say, right? Anyway, let's take a look at the recent buff that she got to Valkyrie. Now, what they did is they reduced the ultimate cost by 15%, so you get more Valkyries. And the healing per second was increased from 50 to 60, which was the standard healing she used to do on her normal heal beam before they nerfed that back to 50 from 60. So she effectively gets her old heal when she uses Valkyrie. Now, at the time, I remember discussing, is this enough for Mercy? Does this fix Mercy? Does she need more power in Valkyrie? Is Valkyrie too good of an ability? Or isn't it? You know, it's all this discussions going on. Now, Valkyrie, I don't think is a ridiculously powerful ultimate. I think it's a good ultimate. But Mercy's issue, I think at the time we came to the conclusion of, she still isn't doing enough healing to fulfill this primary healer slot when you look at other healers. However, before you come in on this, Josh, I want to say that I don't think this is Mercy's fault, because heroes like Moira and Anna can simply pump out way more healing given the current meta of the game. And this is where Mercy suffers, because she can't do that. In a death ball, in any kind of tank comp, Moira is doing so much healing, it is absolutely obscene. It is just ridiculous. Same for Anna, but you could say Moira is much easier to pull off the obscene healing, because with Anna, at least you've got to land a nade. But even then, you're still pumping out a lot of healing. Mercy is just sort of standing there, twiddling a staff, just healing one target, and it's not great. You know, so how could you possibly fix that? Or is this something that even needs to be fixed? Or do you think Mercy's actually okay?
I think Mercy's actually okay from a gameplay balance point of
view. So why the rework Mercy?
I think people want Mercy reworked because she's just unfulfilling to play more than anything. She feels very bland. Like, where's your big exciting moment as Mercy? That's sort of the big question I have. Most supports, like Moira activates Coalescence, and suddenly you're drilling people down. Ana's got all of her cool shooting and stuff. Zenyatta destroys people and annihilates people, and there's this big transcendence. Mercy activates Valkyrie and just floats around a little bit and heals everybody and can never be bloody killed. Don't bother trying. Trust me, it's not worth it. And she's just not exciting in a way that the other heroes kind of are, to be honest with you. And I think that's sort of the issue that I think people might be having with Mercy. That's sort of one of the complaints I hear quite a lot about her, is that it's not that she feels super weak, although sometimes she does feel like she doesn't quite pump out the same amount of healing as other heroes, but that's just kind of hero balance. Mercy gets extra points for being very mobile, being very hard to kill, having a resurrect. Like, that's all going to cost you in terms of your healing output overall, compared to someone like Moira, who can't resurrect and only has one cooldown to help us sort of survive every couple of seconds, and that's not quite as good as Mercy's Guardian Angel. It can't get you around quite as quickly. So it's like, she might need something just to make her that little bit more dramatic, that little, like, have that cool moment that makes Mercy seem incredible, makes Mercy seem great, makes a good Mercy sort of stand out and make you go, oh my god, Mercy, you're doing it. You're really doing it. I will say that, like, if you do play against a good Mercy player, you can feel it. I've definitely played in matches where it's like, it's almost like when you're losing to like a Bastion or a Torbjorn in my head still for some reason, which is like, guys, we're losing to like a Mercy healer here because we just can't out DPS her, because she seems to be everywhere all at the same time. She seems to just be on everybody. Somehow we're not getting the DPS out, and somehow we're still losing this. It's not even like Moira or Ana we're dealing with. This is just a good solid Mercy who can't die apparently. But she needs that moment. She needs that dramatic moment that makes her great.
Maybe we're coming at this from the wrong point of view then. I mean, when I first seen the whole rework Mercy stuff, I was like, these people have got to be crazy. Like, Mercy is okay. It doesn't need, she doesn't need mass res, because you're an idiot if you think she needs mass res. But maybe she does need a rework though, but a rework in the way you've just explained. A fun rework, so she's actually interesting to play. Because is that what we're saying here, that she's not interesting to play? Now, I know, like, our support hero, I guess, roster that we personally play is fairly similar. That is, it doesn't include Mercy. Because I don't like playing Mercy. So it's always hard for me to start talking about Mercy, like, oh, you know, what could we do to Mercy, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I'm not having, I don't want to say having an impact, but I feel like I'm not really doing too much when I select Mercy. But this is because I only select Mercy if there's a Pharah on our team, and I'm like, well, you know what, I'll just pocket the Pharah. Or there's an Ashe, I'll be like, I'll just pocket the Ashe and see what happens. But I still feel like I'm not doing anything because I'm not a very good Mercy player. So I'll stand there with a damage boost on, sort of hiding behind the corner, like, this is great. Like, I could legitimately look at my phone like, yeah. Oh, she's taking some damage. I'll just press left mouse button now, a bit of heal. Oh, back to right mouse button. Oh yeah, so what's going on Twitter? That's kind of my Mercy experience, which is bad. I get that. However, when you play against her, and like you say, when she pops Valkyrie and she flies around, she is pointless attacking in that mode. But what actually is she doing in Valkyrie? Now, I remember we had a massive discussion about this before in the old Mercy video, where Valkyrie is an interesting ultimate because you always get value from Valkyrie, because if you're not healing, you're damage boosting, and you never really die unless somebody like lands that absolutely perfect Widowmaker headshot on you and just kills you. Like, nothing else is really going to kill you, because by the time they shoot you again, you're just going to regenerate your health, and you're moving around so fast anyway, it's just ridiculous. So she's always getting some sort of value from it. But what could you do to that to make it more engaging? See, I remember, like, well, it's I don't know, like, I think we threw ideas around of like Uber charge and things like that. I think I might have said something along the lines of, if people are taking whatever their relative health pool is, like percentage-wise, so if they're lower on health, you actually heal them faster. So this gives Mercy almost like a little mini game where it's like, oh, that person's dying, so I can like really go in and really intervene and fly in and then bring them back from death. Because that's kind of, in my head, what the fantasy of this hero is. Not just like, well, I come steaming across the map and I'm just tickling you in the back, but actually this crazy Irish woman throwing balls around is just going to heal you better. Or this mad old granny with a sniper rifle is going to heal you way more effectively, and they're not really standing on top of you. Okay, maybe there's an argument for Moira should be near you, but Anna's not going to be near you. But yeah, you're flying across the battlefield with this emergency intervention, and then you're basically just putting a plaster on a grievous, like, cavernous chest wound in the middle of Reinhardt, and you're like, he'll be fine. And then you're like, okay. Oh, and he's dead. Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like to me, though.
Is I've got you, but yeah, my Mercy experience is very similar. I play every support but Mercy. Like, I try and get out of playing Mercy as much as humanly possible because I'm just not a good one. Because honestly, I think the simple reason is I get bored and I want to try and do things. I want to try and be proactive when I play heroes, and you can't really do that on Mercy. You sort of give up all agency and have to rely on other people to make plays, and then you can support them making those plays, and you can do a good job with that. You can do a lot with that. But if people aren't making the plays, well, you're kind of like, well, I should have just picked Zenyatta and thrown balls at people because that's fun to do, and you can actually have a big impact while doing it. So I do think that, like if
you know what, I'll stop you there, Josh, because I think this takes on to our next point, like the whole idea of people hating supports and tanks, or not hate. Well, I guess hate might be a bit of a strong word, but hating to play them, not actually hating the heroes. Like, oh, I hate Ana, I hate Mercy, but being forced onto them. Why is that the case right now? You know, I've just come off a game. Maybe I'll use footage in this video. I might have done. I'm not sure, but it is of a game on Gibraltar, and it's a fairly high master game, and I started the game off playing Mercy. Hilariously, this is with a Pharah. The Pharah got killed straight away and swapped to Widowmaker. So I was like, all right, okay. Our main healer was Ana, I believe. Well, I guess you could say, well, yeah, it was Ana. So I swapped to Lucio and just started to do Lucio things. And we didn't really get anywhere, and it was really frustrating. And we barely pushed the payload just under the arch, the bridge at the start, just barely up the ramp. It was quite bad. The team was all over the place. I'm standing around like I just felt like I was doing nothing. And I knew that if I swapped my hero to like Ashe or something to try and force the issue, then we just wouldn't have enough healing. So I'm just sort of standing there like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's like the force onto support problem, but also just support and tank in general lately. I've noticed that fewer and fewer people just seem willing to play those heroes, right? And I think that is a large symptom of the current balance of the game. Two heroes in particular really make the tank and support roles miserable, which is Brigitte and Doomfist. Now, Doomfist just makes playing most supports feel terrible because he's just going to jump out of nowhere, kill you straight away, and there's not a damn thing you can really do about it. As Ana, you can maybe land a sleep dart on him. As Zen, you can maybe land some headshots, but that's about it. As Moira,
Zen is the worst. Yeah,
you've got
Zen
to
against Doomfist is just like, oh no.
You got to pray you have Fade, and then even then he can just come back in later and maybe get you. It's like playing support is just, you have a huge target on your back and you're just going to get blown up again and again and again and again, and it's super frustrating. Playing tank is very similar. You're going to get bounced around by Doomfist, stunned by Brigitte. It's just, playing Reinhardt can be completely miserable at times as you just get CC'd and just bounced all over the place on the current patch. So it's like, people don't really want to play those heroes because you just feel so vulnerable and so like dependent on other people bailing you out of situations, and that's where the frustration starts to creep in. And like you said, you end up in a situation where it's like, well, I'm playing support here and I'm just not doing anything. It doesn't feel like anything's happening. We're still losing, and I wanted to play DPS as well, perhaps. Yeah. So then you get that frustration of, well, I'd be doing better if I was playing DPS. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. It's just, you don't feel like you have agency anymore, and that's really frustrating.
This is that issue of the game making not want to play the game, which is really stupid. So I hope Blizzard fix this next year with this, whatever this big thing is they're working on, which I hope they haven't hyped up as well by going, oh yeah, we're working on something big next year, and you'll know when it comes out. Oh. Yeah. It's sad. It does make me sad. I think what I've noticed as well is tank players, typically they'll select Roadhog or Zarya, or even Diva, and it's like, guys, we need a main tank, but nobody will play main tank, and it's so frustrating. That is, again, it just goes back to what you said with Brig and Doomfist on the field. It is frustrating, but they don't even have to be on the field. Like, there is always kind of this sense of hopelessness as a tank. If your DPS just die and then your supports die, you're just sort of like, well, what am I doing? But then the problem is, maybe you caused them to die through ever what you were doing. Tanking, or main tanking, is notoriously difficult to work out, like stats wise anyway, if you're actually doing anything that is good. I always like watching doing tank overanalyze videos, because it's so obvious what the mistakes are, but the players often say in the emails, I don't know what's wrong here. Our DPS are bad, they keep dying. And then when you watch the Reinhardt, he's maybe doing questionable things with his barrier. So even if the McCree is standing next to him, he's actually getting the McCree killed because he drops his barrier or he walks around. You know, all of this goes on, and it's not actually communicated to the players in the game. So it just all adds to this frustration element where you don't know what's going on. And the thing with DPS as well, is you feel like you're doing something when you're killing the enemy. We've all been there and we've popped off and we've killed the enemy, or even just when it's a generic push, right? I like to use King's Row as an example here. So when you attack on the first point, if you've got a Reinhardt that's playing well and he pushes forward straight past the statue, no delay, he's straight into the enemy team. He's giving you space to work there. And maybe you're a Widowmaker, or maybe you're an Ashe or something, so you take the high ground, and then you just start drilling into the enemy team on the point. You might start getting kills, at which point you're doing your job. But what has allowed you to do that is the tank has gone in and created space for you to operate. But a lot of the time, you don't actually feel that as a player. You don't care what the tanks do, and you think to yourself, I've played awesome, I've killed everyone. But actually, that was only possible because of the tank. And in some extent, this does extend to supports as well, because supports enable the tanks to create the space, but also they save the DPS when things are going quite bad for them. And again, I think DPS are not necessarily aware of that a lot of the time. They're just like, heal me, you're not healing me, you're terrible. But that Ana might have had other things to do, you know?
Yeah, it's very interesting when you get to watch these games.
So then
back,
why
like,
play support if some guy's shouting at you like, heal me? And you're like, mate, I am. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's one of the most frustrating things in the game, right? And you're like me, right? I get sent coaching footage as well. You watch a lot of Overanalyzed. I watch a lot of my Coaching the Many stuff. And it's like, you get to see teams just collapse and fall apart and nothing work. And then everyone like dogpiles on one person generally. Everyone goes, oh my God, so-and-so has bronze damage, so he is the worst and he is the reason why we failed. When really it's like the tanks aren't tanking anything properly, so then the DPS can't move forward and can't do anything properly, and the supports are getting picked off, and then the supports are out of position, so they're dying, so then the tanks can't move in properly, and it's like failures happening all across the board. The team just hasn't gelled at all, and then as a result, nobody can do their job. Nobody can do anything they need to do, and then as a result, your McCree does no damage at all, because every time he pokes his head out, he's just going to get killed by a Hanzo arrow or something like that. So it's very, very easy to sort of go and almost drill down on one person and go, oh my God, whoever has bronze damage in his DPS, well, they failed. It's their fault. But really, it's failures across the board that generally sort of cause those kind of issues. And when you play support and tank, you don't get any good feelings of like, well, I can just fight my way out of this, right? If you're a good enough Widowmaker, if suddenly you turn into Carpe, you could blow everybody's head off, and suddenly you have a way of like outplaying everybody. When you're playing tank and you're just getting bullied and pressured out and smashed in by their team, it is extremely hard. It's not impossible, but it's extremely hard to like get some kind of mechanical outplay or some sort of outskill of the enemy that's going to suddenly break you out of that situation. You are very beholden to the team.
I've got another example as well here, Josh. This was again from today, from this morning. This was Hanamura, and I was playing Ana to begin with, and then we had I think he was playing Lucio. Yeah, he's playing Lucio, and then he swapped to a Moira. And I thought, actually, we need the Lucio because we need to break into the. We're attacking second point. No, we're defending for second point. Sorry, I think I swapped to the Lucio because I need to get back to the point quicker or whatever. But it was working out right. We still had the main healer, and we had me on the Lucio, and it's all fine. It's good. Then our attack phase starts, so I stay on the Lucio, and the guy stays on the Moira. Again, this is fine. We push forward through the point. We take the point. This is great. This is awesome. Then we go to attack point 2, or the final point, and it got really messy, like really, really messy. So, you know, when we had a Genji and the Genji decides to just flank and he gets killed straight away, so then you've got to wait for the Genji, but the rest of the team don't want to wait, so they just start rushing forward through the chokes and they're getting killed. The enemy team had a Mei, so they just kept walling off our team, and it was highly frustrating. It's like, what the hell is going on? And then the Moira just was like, I'm playing Junkrat. And I'm like, the thing is, what that player has just done has caused us to have a much higher chance of losing that game now. I know they're frustrated, and that's why they've done it, right? Because you can imagine, they're like, guys, get together. Oh, no, you're dead again. Oh, this is really annoying. Oh, my God, get together, guys. Oh, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to have fun, so I'm going to play Junkrat. And I'm just like, this is outrageous. Like, so I went back to the spawn, swapped off Lucio, and picked Ana. And I'm like, I'm just going to hope that this works. And we took the point, and this is no word of a lie. I'm not even exaggerating this. It was the final attack. You know when it's just like a total mess? Everyone goes in and presses Q. We go in, press Q, we win. And I'm sitting there looking at the screen like, we have literally spent 6 minutes attacking this point in the most uncoordinated fashion ever, because we didn't have a proper team comp, because the main healer just decided they're not going to play healer no more. They're just going to play Junkrat, and everybody's just doing their own thing. It felt so disjointed. And I'm looking at the screen like, we did not deserve to win that at all. I mean, I don't care what the enemy team were doing. Like, maybe they didn't deserve to win, but it was just such a bad win. And I'm like, we just won this game, but I feel Like,
it happens. I mean, we played a game.
know?
Well, I think it was on my stream. We played that game where ended up on Tracer. You were playing Hammond, and we had like a Doomfist
there was like no healers.
Oasis. Yeah, we had literally no healers, and it was just a deathmatch, and we still won somehow. Like at the end of the day, like when a game devolves into that, you just sort of gotta almost embrace the chaos and just go, sod it, right? Okay, no one's playing as a team. Just try and individually do stuff as best as you can. But it is frustrating, especially when someone swaps off like one role and then midway swaps to a different role, especially when it's going from like support to DPS, because no one is going to go from DPS to support. So you always end up with that gridlock, that awkward gridlock.
True. Yeah, it's sad. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. So the whole Rework Mercy thing, I think there is some merit in that, but I think we both agree that it's not really about making her more powerful. It's about making her more impactful. Maybe she needs a crazy steroid button like everybody seems to get these days. I don't know, like, what could you do with it, though? I don't know. If this could be a button.
She needs just a button that just releases dopamine. Like, that's what you want. Just as I get the nerd terms out.
No, oh god, no, she should like apply morphine to people and it gives you damage resistance. Imagine this, like she rushes in and just injects you in the back and you're like, whoa! So you're resistant to crowd control. I don't know. Morphine doesn't make you resistant to crowd control in real life. So don't take morphine, ladies and gentlemen, and then get punched in the head because you'll still get knocked out. Anyway, on that bombshell, I think we'll end it at that. Also, let me know, guys, in the comments below what you think about the whole situation of tanks and supports right now, what it feels like playing these heroes. I know it can be frustrating, but if you've got any ideas of how to fix this, then let us know. So I've been Stylosa. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLossGaming. Click the bell on the channel as well, because you get alerted to when new videos go live, and also subscribe. And he's been...
I've been Josh, as one voice amongst many. You can follow me on Twitter @1_amongst many, and on Twitch @ESL_1 amongst many.
And we'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo.
Toodles.